Okay, pre-algebra friends, this is lesson 5.2, which is fractions with different denominators. Hopefully you guys remember from 6th grade or 7th grade or both that you cannot add or subtract fractions with different denominators until you find a common denominator, okay? And a lot of times that is the least common multiple of the denominators, just to tie it all into all the factoring that we did a couple of chapters ago. We are on page 224 in your textbook. Please turn there and follow along and take notes. Okay, example 1 talks about adding and subtracting fractions. Example 1a, I've got 7/8 plus -2/5. Okay, and I have to find a common denominator for 8 and 5. The first thing that I can think of is going to be 40. Okay, if you choose something that's not the least common denominator, if you choose another number that is also a common multiple, but it's not the least common multiple, all that means is that you're going to have to do a little simplification. It's not the end of the world. You'll just have to simplify at the end. For this one, for these problems, I suggest that you write them like this. You keep the problems neat and in order. This is going to be 40, and this is going to be 40. 8, what times 8 equals 40? And it's 5. So I've got to multiply 7 times 5. That gives me 35. 5 goes into 40 8 times. So I've got to multiply the -2 times 8, which gives me -16. Now I have a common denominator and I can combine these two things. 35 plus -16 over 40. 35 plus -16 gives me 19, positive 19 over 40. Okay. Example 1b is 3/10 minus 5/6. Okay, what's my least common denominator with 5 or with 10 and 6? 30. Okay, 30. 10 times 3 is 30, so in order to make an equivalent fraction, I have to multiply the 3 times 3 also, 9 over 30. 6 times 5 is 30, so I have to multiply the 5 times 5, which gives me 25. So now I do my numerators and I put them over my common denominator. 9 minus 25, the difference of 9 and 25 is -16 over 30. This is not in simplest form. I have to divide both of these by 2. Okay, which is going to give me -8 over 15, and it cannot be simplified any further than that. -8 over 15. Okay, make sure you have this written down. Example 2. Simplify the expression. 2a is 2x over 5 minus x over 6. Okay, we need to simplify this. I can't combine those x's, these x's here, until my denominators are the same. Okay, my least common denominator of 5 and 6, according to the book, is 30. Okay, 5 times 6 is 30, so I have to multiply the 2x by 6 also, giving me 12x. 6 times 5, so I have to multiply the x times 5, 5x. So now my numerators can be combined. 12x minus 5x over 30. 12 minus 5 is 7x over 30. That's my final answer on that one. Okay. Example 2b. Oh, this is where it gets interesting because you know you guys have got number or negative numbers and letters that makes things difficult, okay? But just pay attention to this. write it down and watch it again. Example 2b, 5 over y plus 7/8. Okay? My common denominator, I don't know what number this is. Okay? It's y. So just like this, I multiplied these two together. I'm going to multiply, my common denominator will be 8y. 8 times y. Okay? And in order to get 8y, I have to multiply this by 8 and this by 8. And to get this, I have to multiply this by y and this times y. Does everybody see that? All right. 8y in my denominator. Now I've got 40 up here, 8 times 5, plus 7 times y. That is the answer. I cannot combine those terms in the numerator because they don't have, they're not alike. So I can't combine them, okay? This is the answer that the book is looking for. Okay? I want you guys to go through example 3 on your own, look at each step. That goes back with the carpentry thing at the beginning of page 224. You guys can go through that on your own. I want to work another couple of these where we've got variables in the denominator. 2/5 minus 2 over z. Okay? So in order to find a common denominator, it's going to have a 5 and a z in it. So I'm going to multiply this times z and this times z. And this is going to be 2 times 5. And this is going to be z times 5. My denominator is going to be 5z. 2 times z, 2z minus 10. Because I've got to combine this and I've got to combine this and then I can put them together. But I can't add 2z or I can't take 10 from 2z because they are not alike. If the 10 had a z with it, then I could, but it doesn't, so I can't. Okay, and another example, number 7, down at the bottom of the page is 5 3/4 plus 2 3/5. Now, you can do these problems 2 different ways. I can find a common denominator of these fractions, or I can turn the entire mixed number into an improper fraction and then find common denominators that way. I'm going to find improper fractions. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 3 is 23 over 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13 over 5. Now what's my common denominator of 4 and 5? It's going to be 20. 20 and 20. 4 times 5 is 20, so I have to multiply the 23 by 5. And that gets me 115 over 20. And I have to multiply 13 times 4, which is 52. So when I combine 115 plus 52 over 20, I get 167 over 20. But I have to simplify it. 20 into 167. Let's see what the answer is, so I know I'm getting the right answer. 167, 25, 6, 7, 8 is 160. So my final answer is 8 and 7 over 20, which is what the answer is. Okay, I'm going to post some links to some other tutorials for you guys to look at. Make sure and do the odds and check the answers in the back of your book. And get with me if you have any questions.